Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's happened again, guys. I have bought more books secondhand. Do I have any room on my bookshelf? Not really. I have a little bit of room, but not enough for all of these. But here we are. I will absolutely be continuing to buy more books. All of these books that I want to show you guys today I have bought secondhand, so whether that is in op shops or Facebook Marketplace, or there also are some books from the Evermore Christian bookstore, which I love. I love that bookstore so much. We have a mix of some different genres. We have some thriller, we have some fantasy, we have some romance, we have some memoirs, we have some Christian. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into this video. So I might start off with the thrillers. I only have two thrillers to show you guys. The first one that I picked up is this one here. So this one is The Maidens by Alex Michaelides or Michaelides. I never know how to pronounce this. But basically I saw Rachel Catherine talk about this and I wanted to get my hands on it. I currently have The Silent Patient by this author. I know this one has a little bit of like Greek mythology and stuff in it, so it might even interest my husband as well. But it seems that it talks about grief and this chick finding a society full of secrets and one of the society members is like murdered. Seems interesting. This one I found on Facebook Marketplace. It was local to Auckland as well, so I went to go and pick it up, and this one was $7. And the last thriller I've heard nothing about, but I was in the Dove Hospice op shop in Glen Innes, which I love. I love that op shop for books specifically because they have a very good book section. But I saw this one and it sounded really interesting. It just says one girl's dead, one's in hospital, and one has a secret. Pretty Girl by J.C. Burke, and the cover was like a little bit creepy, but I love the hot pink. And also there's a chick in here called Paige, so I was like, well, why not give it a go. So it says it only took a whisper and he had her. So Paige, Sarah, Jess and Tallulah were best friends at school. Now they've begun university and are living together at college, but it's not turning out like it's meant to. Tallulah's partying too hard, Jess is being secretive, Paige is embarrassing herself with an unrequited crush, and Sarah's struggling to keep up with her wealthier friends. One night, Sarah saves Paige from drowning in the university swimming pool. Paige can't remember why she was there, and Sarah is too afraid to say what she thought she saw. Then Jess's body is found outside the college laundry. It's not until Sarah meets the gorgeous and charming Johnny that she can tell someone her suspicions. But what really did happen that night at the pool? Does anything connect Paige's accident with Jess's death? As Paige starts to piece together her memories, the most terrifying question becomes clear. Could it happen again? So it sounds interesting. I'm hoping that the whole plot is not on the back, but we'll see how it goes. This one I believe was only about $3. And then I think that's all for thrillers. I might do memoirs next, I think. So I don't read memoirs that often, but I've read a couple and I really enjoy the ones that I have read. I do have a couple more on my list that I do want to get that I'm currently looking out for. So the first memoir that I picked up is this one here. So this one is 127 Hours by Aaron Ralston. So if you don't know who Aaron Ralston is, he is the guy who got wedged in like a little cave thing with his arm trapped by a boulder, and basically to get himself out of this situation so he didn't die, because he was also alone, he had to cut his arm off. I wanted to read his story basically. It also has pictures in here, which I'm not going to show you a picture where you see his arm because it's disgusting, but it's got like pictures of him and stuff in here. I just find this a very fascinating story. He's now obviously like a motivational speaker. I cannot imagine being in that situation and having to make such a radical choice to either die or save your life basically, but a very drastic way to save your life. I've got a lot of respect for this guy. Just says between a rock and a hard place. This one was only $3 from Facebook Marketplace as well, again local to Auckland, so I went to go and pick it up. And then the last memoir that I have to show you guys, I am so excited that I was able to get my hands on this, because I swear anytime this is on Facebook Marketplace it sells just like that, or it's really expensive and I just don't want to pay like 20, 25, 30 bucks for it. And that is this one here. So this is I'm Glad My Mum Died by Jeanette McCurdy. So Jeanette McCurdy was Sam in iCarly, so if you grew up watching iCarly like I did, like if you're born in like the late 1990s or the early 2000s and you remember watching iCarly, this is her story basically, and I think she just talks about like the abuse that she received and also the experience that she has growing up as like a child actor in Hollywood. Fascinating stuff. Obviously it's like really difficult to like read about because obviously this is like her life and this really did happen to her. I haven't read this yet, but I am really excited to. I love the cover as well and the spine, it looks really nice on the shelf. But I've heard a lot of people rave about this. Obviously this was popular on BookTok a while ago as well, and this one I only paid $15 for, which I'm very happy with. Again, it was local here in Auckland, so I went to go and pick it up. Okay, next I might do fantasy. So I managed to pick up the first 4 books, I think there's 5, possibly, don't quote me, in the Guild series. This is written by Raven Kennedy. So you have the first book, which is called Guild, the second book, which is Glint, the third book, which is Gleam, and then the fourth book, which is Glow. I do wish this was the same size as the others and the same type of cover, but whatever. This is also a thick book. I love the like the black and the gold through this. Plated Prisoner series. I heard Rachel Catherine talk about this first book and the concept sounded interesting, so I thought I would give it a go and see what I think. I've been delving into fantasy lately and I've been really enjoying it. It just says a gilded cage is still a prison. The dark fantasy TikTok sensation that sold 500,000 copies. So it says it's the arrogance of men to think so little of women and it will be their downfall. This is the story of King Midas. Well, that's what we're always told. The Golden King with his palace of riches, and me, the girl he turned to gold. Upon the snowy mountains in the 6th kingdom of Aurora, I'm locked away in a high-bow castle, away from the dangers of the world below. No one can get in, apart from him. King Midas rescued me from the streets. He gave me food, shelter, and his heart. I promised to love him forever. But when war comes to the kingdom, a deal is struck, and I am at the heart of the bargain. Everything I know starts to change. My love for Midas challenged, my trust broken. Suddenly I'm sent to travel between kingdoms to a future I no longer understand, and my spirit becomes truly tested. I'm always told this is his tale, but perhaps that is no longer the case. It's mine. This is the story of Orin. I don't think you're supposed to read this if you're under 18 because I think it does talk about emotional manipulation a little bit. Yeah, there's like a little warning in the start of the book. But I think basically everything this chick touches turns to gold, and so she's been like kept prisoner in this king's prison basically. This whole set I managed to get for $45 including shipping on Facebook Marketplace. I think I saw it once in Wickles, but I've not seen it again since, so I wanted to get my hands on it when I saw it, and I thought $45 for all 4, like that's really good. And then the last books in the fantasy category that I want to show you guys is again another series. I managed to get my hands on the Shadow and Bone trilogy, which I am so excited to have my hands on these guys. I cannot even explain. I have been thinking about buying this trilogy for so long, like ever since I started watching the TV show. I've watched season 1 and like half of season 2, so I really need to finish season 2. The first book is obviously Shadow and Bone. They're written by Leigh Bardugo and I love this cover. The only thing I'm not loving is the whole like not full cover. It kind of annoys me a little bit. Then you have Siege and Storm, which is the second book, and then Ruin and Rising, which is the third book. I also love the color scheme. I love the spines. They're so pretty. If you are not familiar with Shadow and Bone, basically you have the like the mortal people and the Grisha people. The Grisha people have like special abilities and the normal people don't have any powers. The normal people are scared of Grisha and they try and hunt Grisha down. There's like different lands that are separated by something called the Fold. Now the Fold is just like pure darkness that has like monsters in the fold, and to get supplies to the different lands and stuff people have to cross the Fold. And it just talks about like this one girl who ends up being on a ship to cross the Fold and something happens, and I don't want to spoil what happens in case it is a spoiler. And these books were $5 each from the same seller, which is fantastic. It was actually someone that I knew. Went to go and pick them up in Auckland. A lot of people on Facebook Marketplace sell this trilogy for like 40 bucks, which is still cheaper than buying them brand new, but I was like, oh, if I can get the trilogy for like even $15, possibly even 20, I'll do it. Next up, I'll do the Christian books. So I know that this isn't going to interest everybody. So all of these books here I got, bar one actually, I got from the Evermore Christian bookstore, which is like a second-hand bookstore in Mount Roskill. Some of the books are a little bit more expensive than others, also depending on how well the copies have been kept. I managed to find quite a few. The day that I went in was like so good. I managed to tick off quite a few on my list. So the first one I found is this one here. So this one is Christianity on Trial by Colin Chapman. Who am I? What's the point? What is love? Why suffering? What hope is there? Can we fight evil? So basically this book here puts Christianity on trial, and I'm pretty sure it's written by a lawyer who is also a Christian, and basically he just goes through and like tries to argue that Christianity is real and like looks at the evidence and stuff like that. So I thought this would be a really good one for me to read, just so I like can also help others understand Christianity a little bit more. The font is like really small, so it's probably going to take me a while to read through this, but I'm really excited to read this. I know there's going to be a lot of like great pieces of evidence in here that I'm going to be able to share with others. This one was only $10. Next up we have this one here. So this one is The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. How to stay emotionally healthy and spiritually alive in the chaos of the modern world. I feel like this is like perfect because my life tends to be quite busy. This one was really pricey. This was the most expensive book that I have here. This was $38. The reason it was $38 is because it's basically like brand new. It was on my list and it seems like it's got a lot of good wisdom in it. It's also like kind of big-ish font, and I've not seen it anywhere else, so I thought screw it, I'm just gonna get it, and I'm really happy that I did. Next up I managed to find Armageddon by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins. This is the 11th book in the Left Behind series. This was the only one that I was missing from my entire set. I felt kind of bad when I went in there. There was like someone who had donated the whole set, and I just like took book 11 from the set. It's a smaller copy than the other ones that I've got on my bookshelf, but I'm just really thankful to have this. I read the Left Behind series in high school with my best friend Rachel, and I loved it. We both flew through it really quickly. It is 12 books, so it's not for the faint-hearted, but it basically is like a take on the end of the world, and kind of is written in a way that puts Revelation, like the book of Revelation from the Bible, into like modern times and what it would actually look like. If you're wanting to understand Revelation, I would highly recommend reading this series. It is taken from one view that people have of Revelation, but it is kind of the version that I hold to. I'm so happy to have this. I'm happy to finally have completed my Left Behind series, because it has probably taken a good like maybe 3 years at least for me to get the entire set. So now I've got it. I'm really happy. My husband has only read the first book, so I really want to encourage him to keep going. And I know that Rachel, who's my best friend, wants to reread this series at some point as well, so she can just borrow the books from me. It was only $7.50 as well, so can't go wrong. The next book I managed to find is this one here. This one is Crazy Love by Francis Chan. It says overwhelmed by a relentless God. It says on the back, God is love. Have you ever wondered if we're missing it? It's crazy if you think about it. The God of the universe, the creator of nitrogen and pine needles, galaxy and E minor, loves us with a radical, unconditional, self-sacrificing love. And what is our typical response? We go to church, sing songs, and try not to cuss. Whether you've verbalized it yet or not, we all know something's wrong. Does something deep inside your heart long to break free from the status quo? Are you hungry for an authentic faith that addresses the problems of our world with tangible, even radical solutions? God is calling you to a passionate love relationship with himself, because the answer to religious complacency isn't working harder at a list of do's and don'ts. It's falling in love with God. And once you encounter his love, as Francis describes it, you will never be the same. Because when you're wildly in love with someone, it changes everything. I think I heard this book talked about by Jess Conte, I think. I'm pretty sure it was her that raved about this. So I was like, cool, I'll give it a try. And it was in the Evermore bookstore for $11. I was like, amazing, I'll pick it up. I love how simple the cover is. Also quite a small book, so it fits on the bookshelf really nicely as well. And then the last book that I have in the Christian section is kind of like a fiction-ish book. This book is marketed as biographical fiction, so I haven't read anything in that specific category before, but it is A Lineage of Grace by Francine Rivers. So Francine Rivers is a Christian. She is a Christian fiction author, but I had heard Rachel Catherine talk about this book, and so I wanted to give it a go. It is quite long, but it's 5 short stories. So it says 5 women whom God chose. So you've got Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, Bathsheba, and Mary. So Tamar, betrayed by the men who controlled her future, she fought for her right to believe in a loving God. Rahab, who was a woman with a past to whom God gave a future. She was the one who hid the spies as well. Ruth, she gave up everything, expecting nothing, and God honored her. I love the story of Ruth so much. You've got Bathsheba, her beauty stirred the passion of a king, her pain moved the heart of God. And Mary, all eternity had been waiting for this moment. She responded in simple obedience to God's call. So it just talks about like the different women and the different roles that they had. I'm not sure how this is the fiction, like where the fiction element to this comes in. These 5 women are like real women who have existed in history, who are in the Bible that you can read about, and I just thought it'd be really interesting. I'd also not seen this book at all before, but I saw it on Facebook Marketplace. It was only $15. It was on my list, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna grab it, because if I don't grab it now, I'm probably not gonna see it again, and then I'll regret not buying it. Alrighty, and then the last few books, I've got so many books, it's actually insane, are all like romance. No, actually I lie, one is not. I'll do the one that's not romance. This book here is a dystopian. This one is the final book in the, I think it's the Delirium series by Lauren Oliver. This is Requiem, which just says the final book of the internationally best-selling Delirium trilogy. I cannot tell you guys how long I had been spending trying to find this specific book that matches my other covers. So I have seen this book in so many other covers, but not in the one that matched my set, and it was annoying me for so long. And then finally in the Dove Hospice in Glen Innes, I found the matching one, which I'm so happy to have. I love the cover. I think it's really, really cool. Yeah, so it's a YA dystopian series. My sister actually used to own the books. So Delirium is set in Portland, Maine, 64 years after love has been declared a disease by the US government. 17-year-old Lena Holloway is looking forward to her 18th birthday when she can have the mandatory medical procedure that renders patients incapable of love. Seems very, very fascinating. Obviously love is such like a vital, I would say, human emotion, and without it the world is in a lot of trouble. So I'm really excited to see what they do with this. Delirium is the first one, Pandemonium is the second one, and Requiem is the third one. So this one I actually got in a deal from the Dove Hospice in Glen Innes. So they were doing like 2 books for $5, I think. So I got this one and I got another one, which I'll show you in just a second, for $5. So I am stoked. I literally died when I saw this. I was like, oh my goodness, like I have been looking for this cover for years. Like I literally mean about 5 years. And then the other book that I got in that 2 for $5 deal is this one here. So this one is One Day by David Nichols. Now I know some people love this and some people hate this, but it basically is like a couple who meet, and then I think you follow them for like 1 day a year for like 20 years, I think. And I think it's just like a little like romance story. Very interesting concept. I love the cover as well. I think it's very cool. I really, really hope that I like this. I know it's been really popular on like BookTok and stuff. Okay, hopefully I'm in kind of the same position. My battery just died, so I've just changed it over to my other one. The next book that I managed to find secondhand on Facebook Marketplace, again, is one that is so popular, and I mean so popular because of BookTok. I've not read it yet, but I want to read it. And that is The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood. This one I managed to find for $10, and it basically is just like 2 people who are like studying love, They're like scientists, and I'm guessing it's a romance between them two because of the cover. Kind of spoils it a little bit. I actually first heard about this book because of Rachel Catherine. I forgot one, so I just had to get up and get it. So I might do these two together next because I bought them together from the same seller. So next up for the romances, I have these two here. It was $33 for both of these, including shipping, because I did get them shipped. The main reason I was happy to spend that much is because Marriage for One is really hard to find. So the first book I'll talk about is this one here. So this one is X's and O's by Amy Lee. This follows a booktuber, so thought that would be interesting. Again, I've heard about this from Rachel Catherine. I do believe this is the second book in a series, but I don't think you need to read the first book to understand this one. If I can get the first book, which I think is Set on You, I might read that first, but again, it just depends if I can find it or not. Otherwise, I'll probably just go straight into this one. And then I also managed to pick up Marriage for One by elimination. Again, I heard Rachel Catherine rave about this, so wanted to give it a go. It is quite chunky, like I think it's around the 500 page mark, which is a lot for a romance book. Normally they're about 380. I thought I'd give it a go. Again, love the cover. This one says, the only way to secure her dream is to marry a handsome stranger. When Rose and Jack meet, she has just lost her uncle, and with him her dream of owning a coffee shop. Rose wanted nothing more than to open a cafe in her uncle's building, but his will is clear. The building goes to Rose's husband, not to her. Then his lawyer Jack offers an unusual solution. She can marry him. She'll get the cafe and he'll get the building. For some reason, Rose agrees. It might be a marriage of convenience, but it's anything but simple. Despite it being his idea, Jack is unbearably surly, but then he does something that shows Rose he just might have a softer side. Maybe love can start with a contract, but will Rose still feel that way when she learns the full terms of their deal? And then the last two books are in the same series, so I'll do them together. I can't remember where I got one of them. I think one of them may have been an op shop find. This one was a Facebook Marketplace find. But I managed to get these two books here. So they're both written by Sophie Kinsella. So I've got Shopaholic to the Stars, Hollywood, here she comes, and Shopaholic to the Rescue. To win, she'll have to take a gamble. I have read most of the Shopaholic series. I think I have, excluding these two, I think I had 2 more books left. These are the last 2 that I needed to complete my series. But Sophie Kinsella is, I think she's mostly like an adult romance novelist. This series is adult romance. This one was $3 on Facebook Marketplace. I can't remember where I got this. It may have been Facebook or it may have been an op shop. I actually can't quite remember. I do really enjoy the Shopaholic series. If you don't know what it's about, basically it just follows Becky Bloomwood, who is a shopaholic, and so you just follow her as she like learns to basically control her spending, basically. That is it. Those are all of the books that I have to share with you guys and to show you guys for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed seeing the ones that I've picked up recently. If you guys have read any of these books, let me know down below. Obviously no spoilers for anything, but let me know your thoughts. If you want to go and pick up any of these books after watching this video, let me know that as well. Always loved reading ever since a young age. I used to do Lions book sale hauls a lot on my channel when I lived in Hawke's Bay and we would go to that. I honestly am so excited for all of the books that I have showed you guys today. Most of them have been on my list to get as well, which is really helpful. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications. Please go and check out my social media as well. It's always linked down below. To let you know, I do have a reading playlist as well, so if you enjoy any book related videos, go check out that playlist. It'll be linked down below as well. And I think that's everything. So I shall see you guys in my next video. Bye.